What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today, of course, we have the treasure map breakdown playthrough video of my own personal teams going up against this. So we've already gone ahead and streamed a couple hours when the treasure map first went live, and these are the teams that I showed off in my own treasure map preparation video, showing off my own teams, and they work pretty much as intended, which is good. You know, having to change teams on the fly does make things a little bit more frustrating, but luckily for me, these teams worked out pretty well, and I know these teams are not going to be for everyone. Not everyone is going to have the exact same units as me. There is another treasure map preparation video that I did upload before the TM went live, so make sure to go ahead and check out that video on the channel if you need a little bit more inspiration in terms of building your own squads. And of course, if you're in the East Blue, then it makes things a lot easier because you can just use your max booster team against all of the bosses because the gimmicks are much easier. So I would suggest that if you are in treasure map and you don't have like the best of units, going down a league may make things a little bit easier for you, considering the gimmicks in a lot of the most recent TMs have been pretty harsh. So it does make things a little bit more difficult, especially if you are not getting some of the more recent characters. But of course, in this team here, we're going to be using double Usopp. We have the new free-to-play Yamato, who actually is really good. The one from the Grand Feast Sugo Fest, actually surprisingly good for not only the Mihawk boss fight, but also for the final boss versus Kuro and Django. So that's a really nice character with relatively high point boost that you can abuse against the Mihawk fight and also the Kuro fight. Moving on to our first Battle Rush boss, we're going to have Mr. 4, Miss Merry Christmas, and this team worked out exactly how I thought it was going to work, aside from one slight change. So I did have the Sai Uta support on Luffy, stating that when you're inflicted with Special Bind, it removes it, and then that just makes it so that we only have to use Luffy special. A little bit of an oversight, the Special Bind is only on the left side of the team, so Luffy isn't even inflicted with Special Bind anyway, so that Uta support is just not needed, so you can just replace it with whatever you want. But the rest of the team works well. We've got Riser support for color affinity, Kuzan's captain ability gives us attack and orb boost, and then we have the Anniversary Sabo on Koala, which gives us a chain lock, so we get a lot of damage and we only have to activate Luffy special to remove the stun and also remove the attack down. Very awesome team, especially because we use Shirahoshi to give us those rainbow slots from the start of the quest. The second Battle Rush boss is against Perona, and they really recommend you to use 5 or 6 plus Lucci, that is, and he's really good for this. He gets around a lot of the gimmicks by himself, and we are going to be using Zorojuro for our wave clears for the first 2 stages. The Luffy's on the team only here because he can have the support of Brûlé to change block slots into matching on the final stage, just meaning there's one less special that we have to launch. Lucci gets rid of pretty much all of the other gimmicks here. Blackbeard is here because he's an int character that's boosted by Lucci's effects, and because the boss has both Sai and quick typing, we want to have some type variation to get around a lot of the different gimmicks here. And Yamato's here because, again, pretty high point booster, and I was lucky enough to have an unevolved one to use on a couple of different teams, which is nice. The third Battle Rush boss versus Sugar. I think Sugar is the most difficult of the bosses this time around, but very easy to beat with double Gear 5. Luffy deals with pretty much all of the gimmicks by himself. The only thing that you have to deal with is the one stack of hunger that is inflicted to your crew, and there's a couple of units you could use. I opt to use Shanks here because he's a relatively high point booster. He does have the hunger potential ability, and then by using Brook to wave clear the first 2 stages, makes it very fast. We'll reach the final stage, and especially if you take on Sugar during the mid-map, Sugar's HP is so low that when you launch Gear 5 Luffy's special, you will just immediately kill her. So if you are having troubles with that, you can just use Gear 5 on your team in any capacity, and then just use the special to kill on the mid-map. So that works really well. But even still, you can use one of the EX supers to make your normal attacks go through defensive effects, have another one non-Gear 5 state, so that when the enemy does the death hit, you can revive with that. So very easy team. Despite all of the gimmicks, Gear 5 handles most of it. The last Battle Rush boss is versus Ulti in page 1. Now, there was actually a little bit of a download before the TM went live, and what they did is that they removed the Intimidate that is actually inflicted on the enemy side of the field during this boss. I don't know why they decided to remove it, but that's what they did. So basically, when we activate the special of Rayleigh, the attack boost that normally would have been removed via the Intimidate will still stand. So that works out pretty well for us. We're using a lot of non-boosters here just to get through as fast as possible. Hiyori for the Wano slots, Vista for wave clearing, Sanji because he's boosted really highly by the Luffy, and then we can have a support that removes paralysis on Sanji, and then Rayleigh, of course, to allow our normal attacks to bypass the Rainbow Shield. You could ultimately just use another character that removes Rainbow Shield, but this team works really well because Rayleigh provides the paralysis removal, attack and all boost, and basically removing the Rainbow Shield all by himself. And then finally we get to the final boss versus Kuro and Django. I opt to use the Roger as our captain here, mainly because he does have the ability in his captain effect to remove special bind when it's inflicted to us, so it just means we don't have to bring a dedicated character to remove special bind, as Roger can provide that for us. Another big positive by using Roger is that when we use his special ability, he'll provide the attack boost or boost color affinity lasting for 2 turns, which is massive because on the last stage we actually have to stall over 2 turns or kill the boss over 2 turns. And because of the delay of Usopp, we can basically guarantee that. And because the buffs of Roger last for multiple turns, we don't really have to worry about having buffs for 2 separate stages. So it works really well for us here, and we do have the support of Shanks on the Roger, so that when we use the special of Roger, the attack boost that is applied, it actually lasts it actually extends the buff, or buffs the buff, should I say, to a 3 times attack boost instead. So 3 times attack, 2.75 affinity, 2.75 all boost. We've got like all of the abilities to remove the enemy gimmicks as well. A lot of threshold here, but we have the Cornelia Katatsu support to remove 3 turns of threshold, and we have Usopp to remove the further 7 turns of it. But that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it though, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.